Hello YouTube, hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jacqueline from the blog thedoggyperspective.com. Today's video is another quickie dog food review, and I want to talk with you a little bit about the dogs that have been returned to the shelter post coronavirus craze. Stay tuned. Okay, so first of all, just want to say happy springtime to you all. The cold weather is finally over here in the east, and so I'm just super jazzed about the things that are in bloom right now and the ability to take longer, more experiential walks with Sophia. So I'm just excited that things are now in bloom. Everything's green and fresh and growing right now, and so we have an opportunity to take longer, more playful walks outside. So feeling very grateful for that today. But I was startled recently when I came across an article that mentioned that the dog shelters are now reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? Because in 2020, it was reported that approximately 18,000 pets were adopted from the animal shelters. And I mean, all the shelters were cleaned out and the workers were on screen just clapping and applauding, and it was going so well. Well, now, according to the folks in Maricopa County, their shelters are beginning to become overrun once more with abandoned cats, abandoned dogs. That is a lot. And they say it's the fact that people have returned to work, or they have started to struggle financially because of the effects of the corona, right? Some of us were not hit with it right in the beginning, but after a while there was that portion of the community that found out that, hey, we're not essential, and so we have to go home. They're really feeling the pinch. And I mean, a lot of people are making it paycheck to paycheck, and so they have to make these choices. Do we feed our kids or do we feed these dogs? What do we do? So now that they are going back to work, that they are struggling, they're dropping the dogs back off at the rescue. Now, statistics say that it's not a lot of dogs, but if you think about it, agencies that normally take in approximately 5 abandoned dogs per month, they're back to 10 abandoned dogs per month. And let me just double check my notes here, because there's also the numbers that are inflated due to immigration, people that are leaving different countries such as Asia. I mean, there's like 40,000 people a month leaving. And what are they doing with their dogs? They're leaving their dogs, abandoning their dogs, because the paperwork, the certifications that are normally issued when you are traveling with an animal, those are not being issued anymore, right? It's fallen way off. And so these dogs have been returned to the shelters. Many of the dogs that were adopted are, they have behavioral issues, or maybe they fit better in homes where there's no other pets, or they fit better in homes where there's no children. They fit better in homes where they're going to have just one primary caretaker because they have developed behavioral issues. And you know what? I really understand. I do understand that people need to take care of business. They got to get back to work. But I don't understand these abandonment issues. That is not right. I mean, when you needed a friend for the corona, you got up, you got dressed, you went to the shelter, and you found your fluffy friend waiting on you. Well, you know what? As your fluffy friend, I was just fine right there in the shelter, getting my food, getting my meds, talking and playing with the other little doggies in there, and all dreaming about the type of families we would go to when we were adopted and found our forever homes. It's not right. Now, you could take the approach of rehoming your pet. You don't have to take them back to a shelter and just drop them and just leave them, because you know what? Now that they've been, playing Ring Around the Rosie, you remember when they went to your house, they now live there, they now work there, they now love there, they now play there. you're it for them. You are their family. So this abandonment business, that's a big no-no. And I mean, if you need help, you can seek help. The shelters and things have resources. The community has resources. Now, a lot of times the dog rescues operate off of volunteerism. That's another ball of wax, because a person like me, Sophia is a full-time job in addition to my full-time job, in addition to my YouTube channel, right? So you've got to have the time to put in, and none of us, well, I'll take that back. I can only speak for myself, right? And for others that are made up like me. I can't volunteer full-time, seriously, anywhere, because I need money to maintain my household and to maintain and cover Sophia's living expenses, right? That's just a fact. And I read this article where the Valley Dog Rescue, the lady that runs it, she has a foster site, right? And her foster site is full to the brink. And at one point, she personally had not one, not two, but she had 20 dogs. And I thought, my God, if you have 20 dogs, you must be doing a phenomenal job. Think about it. 1 dog, 2 dogs, 3 dogs, 4. Okay, it might be all right if I take in 4 more, right? 8 dogs, 9 dogs, 10 dogs. Wow. Look at all the love running around the house. But can you really give individualized attention to these dogs when you have so many? At 10, it wasn't enough because the dogs were in need, the shelters were in need, and so she's taking them home in order to help out. You know, can you imagine? She became a personal overflow for the dog shelter. Incredible. So kudos to her, because she's doing a phenomenal job. A phenomenal job. And it got to the point where she has 20 dogs. Man, I don't know how she does it. I have 1. And I believe if you do it right, if you do it right, you really will see that you can't have a lot of dogs, right? And I'm thinking with 20 dogs, she must have a lot of space, a fantastic lawn, fenced in places, water sources already outside. I don't mean dog bowls, I mean little ponds or little pools, you know, things like that, because they've got to run, they've got to play, they've got to socialize. But bath time and brushing and all the things that they need, I mean, it's just incredible, right? So there's one person who has a really big heart, and they understand that the dogs are in need, but one person can only do so much. Even if you had a tribe of people that would take 20 dogs home each, you know, borderline hoarding, where does that come in, right? So I'm just saying, it's not bad that you acknowledge your need to go back to work and you're being honest with yourself about your financial struggle, but don't leave Fluffy in the lurch. That's all I'm saying. Because now that they're back to the shelter, right? I'm a little bit older now. And what happens when it's time to rehome older animals? Who wants them? Everybody's looking for the pups, right? And a big part of this is also the fact that we should be spaying and neutering the dogs on a regular basis. Do it as early as possible, especially if you're not a breeder or you're not someone that's doing it for monetary gain. Don't just be irresponsible with it, because then you end up with 5 or 6 puppies, and those 5 or 6 puppies can have 5 or 6 puppies, and the population explodes really, really, really quickly, right? And then you do end up with all of these animals that are just left out that nobody wants. So I just wanted to bend your ears a little bit about that, because you know, it's at the end of the day, it's all of our responsibility. And I do feel that you really have to look at the real cost of owning the dog. I asked in a previous video, I asked all of my viewers, right? Why did you adopt a dog anyways? Do you even remember why they're in your house? Do you even recall? Right? I do. I did it on purpose, right? It's similar to family planning. You do it on purpose, right? You prepare for their presence, right? And even if it's difficult, even if financially it's hard, you make some sacrifices. right? You find new ways to overcome your financial challenges and to keep everyone in your household, including Fluffy, well cared for and tended to. And I'll tell you something. When it goes back to these spays and neuters, I said it before. Get your pet assured. Get it. It's inexpensive, right? It's inexpensive, and it is perfect for families or pet parents that have multiples, and it doesn't matter what type of animal you own. Whatever your preference is, fine and dandy. Just get it. You know, you can turn it on when you need, turn it off when you need, but it's a low cost way for you to save automatically and instantly 25% off of all in-house services when you take your doggo out to the vet. So please, get your pet assured. Don't forget that. All right, so enough about it. I just hope that at the end of the day, we discontinue seeing the numbers swell in the way that they have, because moving forward with a solution, really the only solution that people do have is A, if you adopt, make sure that you care properly. Spaying and neutering is your responsibility. And then B, when you adopt, keep. Plain and simple. Keep. Right? You don't realize, and then here's a quote. Here's a quote. People don't realize when they get their animal that there will be a monetary commitment to it later. You don't just bail on it when it gets expensive. Let's say that again. People don't realize when they get their animal that there will be a monetary commitment to it later. You don't just bail on it when it gets expensive. Okay? It's the truth. All right, now, time for my favorite. From our table. From our table. Let me get a little closer. A little closer. A little closer. Everybody see that? That is the Purina Pro plan. Hang on a second. Need these so you can see. Alright. That is the Purina Pro plan. Chunks and gravy, adult large breed beef and rice entree. Right, so we tried something different. Sophia has been a little nippy with me in the morning before breakfast time, right? She's kind of nipping at me and biting at my fingers and things, and so I'm just thinking, I understand that, you know. There are times when I really want to sink my teeth into something. I mean, it can't always be salads, and it can't always be lattes, right? I got to take a bite sometimes, and so I understood that, and I switched it up a little bit, and we went in with Purina Pro plan. Now, this is different because this is for a large breed, so Sophia's 12 pounds, but the meat inside of the can, you can see right here, it's quite chunky, right? And it's meant for a dog with a large mouth, with a much bigger bite, okay? So it is really moist. You're gonna get a lot of gravies in there. You're gonna get vitamin E in there, vitamin B3, vitamin 6, right? And to feed Sophia, I stuck with her normal feeding plan and program, right? I really only gave her about 3 tablespoons of this to begin with on top of dry food so that she could try it and become accustomed to it. Now, once I knew it was safe, right, I just backed off of the dry food and gave her the entire can. I capsized it and let her get to it. Man, that was some good eating for her, okay? Now, you know that I've spoken with you about Purina Pro Plan before. They have a complete line of products for your pups and your adult breed dogs, adult animals, and it doesn't matter what they need. Purina knows dogs, and you can switch it up according to what is good for you. This is a very generous 13-ounce can, and I have to say that Sophia enjoyed this food very, very much. The star rating on it is quite high, almost 5 stars, almost 5 stars. And another thing, with this particular food, people tend to pair it with something else. When it is purchased, you purchase this, plus you buy the Purina Pro Plan gravy wet dog food savor lamb and vegetables entree, right? So you want to pair it with a little bit of something else. But this is a food that's made with high quality protein, and it is really formulated for large breed dogs over 50 pounds. So if you've got a big boy or big girl at home and they're over 50 pounds, you want to give this a try. This really is substantial, right? And it supports your dog's overall health and wellness. This is made to help support strong bones and healthy joints, and it's made with high quality protein, including real beef. Now there's something else in this can here that you can see pretty good, but I have to say the fact that this has real beef in it, right, and real rice in it is really impressive. Now when I opened it up, the gravy looked more like a jelly, right? Is that right to say? Yeah, it looked more like a jelly, right? And so you could tell that the rice had really absorbed the gravy in there. And this is what is so filling about this food and what gives it such a really good bite. It was fragrant, right? And it did really smell like beef and gravy, right? An entree that you would eat yourself. It was actually appealing to my eye, and I definitely I like that. Now there's some crude fat in here, crude fiber in here. The moisture max is 82%, which means this is really juicy. The only thing you're going to need to do basically is capsize. You're going to have to give it a good shake to get it out of there, okay? Minerals included: potassium chloride, zinc sulfate, ferrous sulfate, copper sulfate. Again, vitamins, you're also going to get a vitamin D3 supplement and biotin. Again, with Sophia getting older, a lot of those vitamins and minerals and supplements are super duper important for her health. You know, we have to watch out for her bones, we have to watch out for her joints, and of course taking very good care of her teeth. Remember, enzymatic tooth cleaners work very well because they're easy to administer. It doesn't take a lot of activity and effort from you to help make it a good dental experience for your dog. And then also lots of those are water soluble, so keep an eye out for that. All right, so that's pretty much it on the Purina Pro Plan Chunks and Gravy Adult Large Breed Beef and Rice Entree. Not a whole lot to say about it. Purina makes it with real beef. It's a taste that dogs love. You can find it in most places that carry Purina. Now some places will not have as large of an inventory, but for that there is the website, Purina.com, and you can sign up there. They will send you coupons so that you can save as you begin to buy and keep your dog on an excellent feeding plan and program. All right, so that is it. I'm Jacqueline from the blog, thedoggyperspective.com. Happy pet parenting to you. So glad you stopped in to see us again. Sophia says bye, and we'll see you in the next video.